Okay, so we're going to take a look at the Transformers Prime Robots in Disguise Deluxe Class Bumblebee. Now, there have been a lot of mixed feelings about this toy. A lot of people have said it sucks. It's the worst thing in the Transformers Prime line by far. It's nowhere near the first edition, and they don't know why Hasbro would make this thing. And so I definitely would say that it's not the best figure in the line by far, but it's not a bad figure. I was watching, I was really not going to get this guy at all, actually. But then after watching a few reviews, I figured, okay, why not? I have a coupon at Toys R Us. I might as well just pick it up because there's nothing else on the shelves right now. So I picked him up, and I just thought I'd do a review on him and see what he was like. So we'll... let's just take a look at his car mode, I guess, and you can see here that he is in his... It's not a bad car mode, I would say. I do like the fact that it comes with the darker windows as opposed to the first edition. The first edition one, you can see through the windows. You can see all the robot stuff underneath. And, you know, it's not too bad. It is weird because the yellow paint here, I don't think you can really see it on camera, but the yellow paint is like different shades. Because of the plastic. The yellow plastic that's used on the rest of the figure is different than the yellow paint here and here. And so you can clearly see the contrasting paint, which that is kind of sucky. And then also, I mean, obviously I still wish that they had the silver rims on the car, but what are you going to do? And then he does come with 2 weapons, which I do like about this figure. And that's kind of a nice little bonus that the first edition did not have. But he does come with his weapons here. You can see them here. Let's see. So it's just, you know, pretty similar to the first edition one, just a little bit smaller. And so yeah, so let's get this guy transformed and we'll take a look at him. Okay, so to transform Bumblebee into his robot mode, this is probably one of the simplest transformers that we've had in a long time. It's very easy. So what you're going to want to do is just open up the doors here. You can just... Okay, we'll just open up the doors after. So what you can do is just fold down his legs here. Pretty easy on this one. And then his feet are pretty much already folded out. So there you have his feet. Very easy, okay? And then what you're going to want to do is, now you can open up the doors a little bit easier. And then just fold forward this part here. Okay, just open up that piece, open up the back, fold down his arms, and then this is the revealer piece where basically you're gonna just open up the shoulders, hang on here, yeah, so you're just gonna open up the shoulders and then reveal his head, which a lot of people say looks ridiculous because it's so high up on his chest. Actually, here, this thing is all falling apart. Okay, let me fold this piece down first, and then we can do this better. There we go. Sorry, that transformation was not very good showing on video, but that's basically it right there. What people have complained about the most, I would say, is the fact that his head looks very strange on his body because it's kind of floating up there. As you can see, it's pretty high up. And one thing that I saw in Pia's review was if you just close this up, just close this gimmick, okay, and then he said that if you can basically lift this thing up maybe about that high first, without doing any modifications, and then now just opening it up, and then his head will sit flat, which it actually does. It's much better that way. You don't have to do any sort of modifications or anything like that, so he does actually look nicer that way. I'm not too crazy about the gaping fat hole in his body, but all in all, well, I mean, there you have it. There you have Deluxe Bumblebee in his robot mode. And so, very simple robot mode, I would say. The transformation is very easy. His articulation is okay. He just comes. His head does spin on a hinge here. His shoulders, due to the transformation, they kind of bend up forward like that, but it's not that great. It doesn't go out. It goes out this way, like that, and then he does have a bicep swivel and bends at the elbow. Actually, no, it just swivels at the elbow, so there's no bicep swivel. And then his wrists don't move, and he just has ball jointed hips and thigh swivel, and then a knee, and his toes angle up, and that's about it. So very simple on the figure in terms of just overall, just everything overall. Very simple, and so you can kind of be the judge for yourself. And like I said, he does come with 2 of his weapons, his guns, so you can stick these in here. It's interesting that they're a round peg for a square hole in his arms, but so he can wield dual weapons, which is, I guess that's pretty cool, you know. So I feel like this guy is just very loose actually on everything, but all in all, not horrible, I would say. And so you can just take a look. I do like the doors better on this guy than the first edition. I don't like this piece here. I wish that they would have figured out some way to fold it down so he doesn't have this big old thing hanging up behind his head. And so, but I mean, let's take a look at him next to the first edition one. Alright, so here you have him next to the first edition Bumblebee, and as you can see, there are some major differences, one of the biggest things being his chest. On this one, his chest is basically angled down. On this one, his chest is kind of angled, I mean, it's kind of more of an upward angle. This one, the first edition, obviously is more accurate to the show. This one, not quite as much. I would say he has, his face is probably the only thing that's more accurate to the show, and it is a very nice face. But I would say overall, first edition is much better still. I still agree with that. But this guy is not really as bad. And here you can see just the 2 of them this way. You can see what I mean by I do like the doors better on this RID Bumblebee than I do on the first edition one. As you can see, these doors kind of just hang out of nowhere and just go downwards. So I didn't really like that about the first edition one. But in terms of just overall style, I do still like the first edition one better. I still think he looks better. But like I said, this guy, not so bad. If you really can't get the first edition, this one's not the worst thing in the world. So that's just a quick comparison with the 2 Bumblebees. And then here's Bumblebee with the Deluxe Wheeljack from the same line. And so you can see here they kind of size up next to each other, and they do size up pretty well. I would say that they're about the same height. Bumblebee is just a little bit taller at the head than Wheeljack is, but all in all, they do scale in pretty well together. So if you have a Wheeljack or any of these RID figures, this Bumblebee scales in pretty nicely. And then just for a quick reference, here you have them with the Voyagers, the first edition Voyagers, as well as the new Deluxe Ratchet. So you can see here, I said in my Ratchet review that Ratchet's not really to scale with any of these figures, but he is a nice figure. I mean, a nice figure overall. But yeah, so here you can see Bumblebee, this RID version with the rest of the gang, or most of the gang at least, from the Autobots. So all in all, do I recommend this guy? Yes and no. I think if you already have a first edition one, you probably don't need this guy for sure. If you don't have a first edition one and you can't find it anywhere, I think he's still available in most places actually for the first edition at a reasonable price. So I would say pick that one up first. But if you really, if you just want a simple Transformer that you can carry around and just play with very easily, then this guy's not bad. He's not a bad figure like everyone was making him out to be. So I mean, everyone will have their opinions about this guy, but he's not as bad as as you might think. So, and especially if you do the fix to the headpiece when you're transforming him. And like I said, you don't even have to do a mod where you take him apart. You can just do it based on the normal transformation, and he looks fine. So, but my recommendation would be pick him up if you really, want something, just a toy to play with. And he is good for kids. So definitely recommend him for kids. And that'll do it for this review of Bumblebee. So feel free to ask questions or leave comments. And please rate and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.